locked and loaded and ready to go. We're in a great mood. We're in Vegas. We're at the MGM Grand here, getting ready for the Canelo Charlo fight on Saturday. A little U2 action on Friday at the Sphere. And now it's Marcel Jacques. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Great, man. Just coming back from Chica in Miami. Chica, the restaurant. Took my mom out there for her birthday. And it was good, man. It was good food. I think it's a Little Haiti, Little River, one of that, that area.
Right.
Of that area just north of Edgewater in the Design District.
Mm-hmm.
But sitting in that Miami traffic reminded me why we don't leave Broward anymore.
Right. Yeah. No, Miami traffic can be pretty ugly at times, man. I'm with you there. No doubt about that, man. All right. So let's get to a little Dolphins talk, baby, as they get ready. Injury wise, what are we talking about this week? What do you think?
Well, the big news that everybody's waiting for, Jalen Waddle has cleared concussion protocol. He is on path to play Sunday. That's big. I know they just scored 70 points with 700 yards without him, but it's a guy that they really want back on the field, obviously. Upgrades to limited participants for Teron Armstead, who I imagine was just getting a vet rest day on Wednesday. Like, it's not ever something that we're going to panic about is Teron Armstead, or not something we're ever going to make a big deal about is Teron Armstead not practicing on a Wednesday. He's fine. Connor Williams upgraded to limited with that groin injury that knocked him out on Sunday. But the one name to watch here, Jalen Phillips, back-to-back DNPs with the oblique strain. It knocked him out of the game on Sunday. He tried to come back. He left left again early. This is it's a little uncharacteristic because this is the guy who was Iron Man the first 2 years. Didn't miss a game, didn't miss many snaps, always on the field. Already missed in week 2 with that back injury, and then he is not looking good for Sunday's game. We'll get a better picture of where he's at tomorrow's practice if he can get one more walkthrough in either Friday or Saturday before they head up to Buffalo. But they're going to need him, man. You need all hands on deck when you're playing a guy like Josh Allen.
Well, but the good thing, one of the things that you like about what the Dolphins are doing lately is they're not doing stupid things with their injured guys. They're actually being very cautious, and they take that precautionary approach to it all. And that's what you got to do. And right now, the werewolf is looking pretty good, helping out on the edge. So that's the good thing, that Alex Van Ginkel's elevation and opportunities, you're not missing Jalen Phillips nearly as much as you think you would be, because Van Ginkel's really helping you out. Hell, Agba came in last week and helped out. So the depth at that position has also come in clutch, which gives you the same luxury you had with Teron Armstead, which you didn't have last year. Hey, Teron, we're going to practice you this week. You're not going to play. Want to see how your body responds. And then next week, Kendall Lamb's doing a good job for you right now. We don't need to rush you back, those kind of things. You don't need to rush Jalen Phillips back. Good stuff right now.
Not functional depth, man. That was critical for the Dolphins this past offseason. If you look at the names that they added, they didn't add a whole lot of splashy starters. David Long obviously is a starter. Jalen Ramsey was a trade, not a free agent signing. But the rest of the guys they added, it was about building depth. It was about building depth. As they saw last year, if your guys behind your starters can't keep the ship afloat when people have to miss time, then everything that you have built for, everything that you work for is going to go kind of by the wayside. It's going to be ruined. So, that is what their key focus was this offseason. And then, of course, bringing Andrew Van Ginkel back. We heard what Vic Fangio said, a week or so ago, that he actually called Van Ginkel and said, dude, you're a free agent now. We need you back. I want you back. They tried that experiment, moving him inside. I'm sure he would be a fine inside linebacker, but this man is still a dynamite edge rusher, especially in rotation, and he comes in big whenever he's called upon, which he might be come Sunday. But I like what you said about Emmanuel Ogbah, another big game for him. That's a guy who needed it, Obviously, injury, shortened season last year, ineffective even when he was healthy. Playing in a new scheme now, it was a big deal for him. Good to see him get that interception as well. That was, I think, the moment last week where we knew, oh my God, this might get really ugly. This might get historically ugly. This isn't just a beatdown. When he got that little interception at the end of the third quarter, it's like, oh my God, they're about to score again. They're about to score again. It was one of those where even objectively you look at it and you can't help but laugh because it's like the absurdity of it. You just know you've never seen anything like that before. You might never see one again. I mean, last 70-point game was what, 1966?
Yeah, year I was born. Yes, it was a long time ago. I've been saying the last couple days. I think the Dolphins will win, but the key to their victory to me is all about stopping the Bills' run. And what you want to do is not just stop, the running backs. I'm talking about stopping Josh Allen from killing you with his legs. Force Josh Allen to beat you with his arm because that's where he's going to make a mistake. If you allow him to get his legs in the damn game, he becomes nearly unstoppable because it doesn't force him to make all the plays with his arm because he's making half of the plays with his legs. That makes the game easier for him. You need, as a defense, make the game harder for Josh Allen. Force him to beat you with his arm on a consistent basis. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I don't disagree there. Obviously, asking Josh Allen to throw the ball is also dangerous in its own right.
Of course.
That's not something that you're comfortable doing, but I think, at least it's a more traditional way of winning a game. You hate to see him just pick up chunk gain after chunk gain, third down after third down after third with his legs. It wears on you. It wears on you a little bit as a defense. You want to keep him scrambling around. You want to make him try to extend plays. That's when he gets a little loose with the ball, with his ball handling. Obviously it's not tucked against his body if he's looking to throw. That's when he might force something that may or may not be there. Those moments there, but the key I think to beating the Bills, man, you're right in a sense, in that it does have to do with the ground game, but it's on the other side of the ball. For Miami, it's establishing the run.
Oh yeah.
Control the clock. You know who's 32nd right now in average yards allowed per carry?
Oh,
the Buffalo Bills. Who
Hey,
leads the NFL yards per carry?
last year they were punishing the Bills on the ground and they didn't stay with it. This year, I think it's going to be different. They're running the ball a lot more. They're up to like, what is it, 31 average, I think, per game. They were like at 22 last year. So they've already up that number and they're successful at running the ball. That first game, I'm convinced that they didn't plan on running in that game. They wanted to send a message about all that shit, but they can run now, Marcel. So I'm kind of expecting a dual attack from Miami. I'm expecting them to attack them in the air, but I'm also expecting them to push them around a little bit and have some success on the ground.
That's where it's got to start. Oh, that's where it's got to start. Rheaume Mostert, 136 yards on 17 carries. Last year, obviously did not play in the wild card game. That Jeff Wilson-Savon Ahmed tandem just doesn't hit quite the same as I think the Rheaume Mostert-Devon Achane is going to hit, here moving forward. But and what makes it so critical, defenses can't overplay the pass. You can't just drop 7 back in coverage and assume that the Dolphins aren't going to run the ball. Because on the other side, if they're averaging 5-6 yards a carry, you also can't stack the box. You can't put 8 in the box because of who Miami still has on the outside. So it becomes a basically impossible defense or impossible offense to defend. And that's why the run game was such a stress this offseason and early on this season. So it's really that's a matchup they're going to have to exploit, particularly since the Bills are pretty good at taking away the middle of the field, and that is Miami's favorite area of the field to attack right now.
They definitely are. And listen, when you talk about their corners, talk to me about the challenge of the Buffalo corners against Miami's receivers, because I think that's another thing that Miami's going to be able to take advantage of here. Besides running the ball, I think receivers are going to have a big game today, big game on Sunday.
So the problem is they only have one corner. Christian Benford, I think 5th round pick out of Villanova last year. Like, they have gotten more than expected out of him, but don't get it twisted. They wanted that second corner to be Kyer Elam, or maybe even Dane Jackson, the 7th rounder they grabbed in 2021, but 2020. But they still do have Tre'Davious White. He doesn't typically follow receivers. They usually play more zone heavy than that. They don't shadow receivers like that. But anybody who draws Tre'Davious White in coverage is probably not somewhere that you want to go with the ball. That's not your first option to go with the ball. He's not some sort of athletic specimen. He doesn't run a 4.2, doesn't have a 50-inch vertical. He's not particularly big, but he is one of the most technically sound, technically gifted cornerbacks that you're going to come across in the NFL. Like, just kind of like Xavier Howard, he's very good at taking the ball away. You saw he had a hell of an interception against the Commanders last week. But it is a matchup overall because of who's on the other side of Tre'Davious White. It's a matchup that the Dolphins should win, but that I don't think it's particularly saying much because most NFL teams don't have 2 cornerbacks that can cover Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's a mismatch. It's a mismatch.
Yeah. Are you expecting Julian Hill to become a bigger part of the offense? Because he is getting more snaps.
I mean, not particularly. Define bigger part of the offense. Just more snaps, maybe more inline blocking, more things like that. Sure. I think he did have an opportunity where he maybe could have scored last week. There was I think it was like a miscommunication or just overall drop and bad throw. But, there's opportunity for him to score last week. But this is not an offense that necessarily channels through its tight ends. You need to know how to block. You need to know how to block in this scheme, and that's really about it. Unless you are a George Kittle type, which I don't know if I'm ready to put Julian Hill in that category yet.
Hey, let me ask you something. Tua winning Offensive Player of the Month. Are you seeing and sensing less questioning of who he is as a player now? Are people? Do you run into less of those people that still question him? I just wonder about that in the media circles.
I mean, not this week because it's Bills week, so it depends on who you follow. There's kind of that new influx of quarterbacks I would take above Tua. Quarterbacks who you can put them in whatever system with average players and still be good type deal. Like that, I think that argument is, I don't think, ever going to go anywhere. But I think more people are accepting the fact that making that argument doesn't make a difference. Saying he won't be this in this system, he's only this because of that. The system is built for him, and he is currently in that system. So we deal with reality, right? We talk about reality, what is happening. So I don't care what he would be in another system. He's not in that system. He's playing in this one. So you have to evaluate him based on what he's playing in and who he's playing with. And the fact of the matter is, he is playing with one of the best supporting casts in the NFL, and he is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best offensive players, period, in the NFL. So, you can argue, people can, complain and moan and move the goalposts. They can do whatever they want. But the fact of the matter is, he's putting up XYZ numbers, and all that complaining is not going to stop that from happening. You know what I mean? If the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, Tua wins MVP. What would he do if he was on the Texans? What would he do if he played for the Cardinals? I don't know, but who cares? It's a waste of brain power. It's a waste of time. So I think more people are starting to think logically in that standpoint, to where these arguments it's not that they don't make sense or they don't have merit, it's that they're a waste of time. It is a waste of time. What would Pat Mahomes do on the Cardinals? I don't know. I'm not wasting my time thinking about it because he plays with Andy Reid. He put up numbers with the greatest tight end of all time and one of the greatest playmakers in all time in Tyreek Hill. That is what happened. That is what's happening. That is something that we can quantify. That's what I want to spend my time on. I don't care what Tua could do on the Rams or the Cardinals. I don't care. Go put him. Right. Go trade him in Madden if you care that much. Go trade him and then let me know how it goes, and I'll pretend to listen. But until then, I'm going to deal with the reality. And the reality is, this guy's playing like the league MVP through 3 weeks. Still a lot of time left. We really don't even want to start talking about MVP award races, anything like that, until let's say week 10, give or take. But he's on a great path. He's on the right path.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, he's pacing like he was last year. in an MVP fashion. All right, so okay, look, you're not replacing Connor Williams because he's a beast of a blocker, and so this question has nothing to do with replacing Connor Williams. Okay, I know he has a couple of high snaps and all that. What have you seen from Liam Eichenberg, bro? Did the Dolphins all of a sudden find themselves a serviceable backup center, or do you still think it's just a desperation move that he's filling in?
That's hard to say. I can't call him a serviceable backup center because we don't
No.
see him play that much. Like I think he was fine in limited fashion last week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think
it's clearly been cross training. Like I think they hope that they found a serviceable backup center, but
okay.
you know, these are guys. You know, the two backups are Lester Cotton and Liam Eichenberg. Like neither of whom have ever been a full-time center. So it still kind of feels like you're playing a guy who's capable of playing the position rather than a guy who plays the position. If that makes sense. You know
No,
what
I
I'm
got
saying?
it. But I thought, bro, when I watched the film, he did a nice job, dude. He did a solid job. Again, he's not the blocker that Connor Williams is. Connor Williams mauls the shit out of people, bro. I mean, he's good, man. He's really, really, really good. He's got to tweak the snapping. I get it. But, man, watch him after the snap. You won't complain one bit after the snap. The dude gets after it.
Yeah, he does. He does. And so, like, it's hard to compare. And it's hard to just gush too much about Liam Eichenberg with such a small sample size. But,
Right.
yeah, you never know. Like, what scares me about putting him at center is that he's just had to play so many different positions since he's been in Miami. He's played right tackle. He's played left guard. He's played left tackle. Now you're cross-training him at center as well. Like I always think that what's best for linemen, unless they show proficiency in that type of versatility, what's best for linemen is just stick him at one spot and let him develop at that spot. This is not Madden, and you can't just you're 79, you're 82 left guard can't just go to right guard and also be an 82. Like I think if Madden was realistic, like they would drastically drop ratings when you did that. Because like that's realistic. I think it's poisoning people's brain. So you know, I was willing to give him the benefit of that for a couple of years. At this point, I think it's clear he's more of a reserve depth piece than he is a cornerstone. But you know, I'm not gonna say it's impossible. I'm not gonna say it's impossible that he's a serviceable backup center. I'm saying that I'm not on board with saying that until I see it more often. But obviously, the irony is if you're that you don't see it.
Are the Jets going to trade for Ryan Tannehill?
Who? The Jets?
Yeah, they need a quarterback. They can go trade for Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. That makes. I mean, yeah. In terms of like their options right now, like what else is there? I said it on Around the Horn earlier. Like the NFL does not exist to service the needs of the New York Jets. No matter how much they're talked about on national media, no matter how much you see them on television, like the NFL doesn't wake up and say how to make the Jets better. So if the Jets call you for their backup quarterback or your backup, like if they call, I thought Jameis Winston would have been a great fit. If they call New Orleans and said, hey, can we have Jameis? The first thought in New Orleans is the only reason why you're calling me is because you don't have a backup quarterback. If we trade you ours, then we don't have a backup quarterback. So no. Oh,
Jameis
is a reminder.
Jameis is such an odd bird in New York. That dude.
He's not afraid to throw it. That's all they need is just somebody who's not afraid to throw, and that's why I would say Tannehill's probably like the best bet because two reasons. Contract, I believe, is expiring. Shouldn't cost you too much.
Yes.
And Tennessee has quarterbacks on the roster who need to get an advanced look, like guys on their roster who, you know, they hope is their quarterback of the future, at least one of them, whether it's Levis or Willis. So, you know, there's an incentive for Tennessee to get rid of its starter. And then two, Ryan Tannehill is at least not afraid to throw the ball. I don't think he's super effective. I don't think he's very good, but he's not scared to throw the ball. Like it's not like I don't trust Ryan Tannehill to at least know what he's doing. You know, I don't think Zach Wilson knows what he's doing, or if he does, like his
Oh,
brain
no, he
turns into
doesn't.
that little butterfly game where it shoots it up in the air and you have to catch it with the net. Like, I would be worried about him if I was a coach. I don't think I would worry about Ryan Tannehill. It's a low ceiling, but a way higher floor than Zach Wilson.
What do you got going on ESPN so Dolphin fans can check you out, my friend?
I got a joint piece coming out tomorrow with Helena Getzenberg, our Bills writer, kind of detailing a few of the biggest takeaways and X factors of this weekend's matchup. So, involving, how do you stop Josh Allen? What makes the Dolphins offense so special? Who's a newcomer to look out for? So, I had to write about Devon Achane. Not a whole lot of newcomers in this matchup for Miami, but he's one everybody is obviously highly interested in. So that'll be out tomorrow. Always excited to link up with her. She does great work up there in Buffalo. And beyond that,
no Ahmed
we're
this week, right?
What's that?
No Ahmed this week, right?
Even if Ahmed is healthy, man, I don't see a role for him moving forward. I think Devon Achane has done enough. Obviously, it's just one game. I'm not saying he's their feature back. I think Mostert hasn't done anything to relinquish that title.
No, I get that. I'm just saying for depth purposes. That's all I'm saying. For depth purposes. That's all.
I would say Brooks. Another game with Brooks.
I love him.
Nothing to be trifled with. So
I love Brooks. I love all their backs. I love all their backs, all five of them. I think they're all productive players. I think they can all help you out. It doesn't really matter. Now, is one more dynamic than the other? Yeah, whatever. But all five. If you're blocking this way and your quarterback and your receivers are this threat, your running game is going to succeed no matter what. No matter what. So that's the beauty of what they've got going on now. They don't need to lean on a superstar. They got five guys. They've got talent. And everything else around them is working. All they've got to do is pick the hole and run it. That's it.
That's the one.
That's it. Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ and catch his work at ESPN and twice a week here doing his thing. Marcel, as always, appreciate you, my man. Have a great weekend and enjoy your travels.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Y'all take it easy. Enjoy you too.
All right, baby. Be good. There you go. The great Marcel Louis Jacques. Call our friends at Welt Rheaume. They're in Hollywood. They service all of South Florida. Even listeners in Orlando are calling Welt Rheaume and hiring them. And you should too if you're dealing with personal injury, criminal defense, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation. Call my guys, Jeff Welt right now, or, of course, Daniel Rheaume, 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Tell them that Big O sent you. We're still in the storm season. God forbid we get hit by any kind of storm, but if you have water damage, you want to call Welt Rheaume, they're going to send their adjusters, and their adjusters are working for you. The insurance company, their adjusters are working for the insurance company, not for you. Welt Rheaume, 954-966-4646.